Hey guys, it is early in the morning. It is technically supposed to be the down or like I guess the break week in terms of updates, but we still have a bit of a content update. They announced, I guess, like the next week of updates. So we're just going to cover, or I'm just going to go through kind of explain what we've been given for the upcoming week. Including, I guess, some stuff regarding the powder rotation, the coin shop rotation, stuff like that. Things that you guys are just curious about. I know a couple of people have been asking about whether or not they should be pulling for certain characters. Is Ludwig worth pulling for? Should I keep whatever character on banner? All these random things. Let's just get into it. So first and foremost, Blooming Litica is coming out. If you didn't see her, great looking character. I know a lot of people are concerned about how good she's going to be because she appears to be semi-debuff reliant. But after doing some math and seeing the math done, not only just on... Oh, let me hide this. I just realized this is on my chat on the top. I apologize. This is from stream. After doing a little bit of math about Blooming Litica, just as a bit of a PSA, I discovered that you need about 170 speed to... I guess gain the full penetration on her skill 3. If you don't know where her skill 3 is, it's like this kind of Hua Young-esque nuke. It doesn't crit, so it is like very good, especially against characters like Navy Captain Landy. However, the kind of thing that people are concerned about is, well, if you have to be 170 speed and you only gain 7 speed or something per debuff, like how realistic is it, etc., etc. Just based off of what I found, it's essentially the equivalent to being able to give yourself a speed buff from someone like Lua. The difference can be made essentially through using speed buff from Lua and then landing about 5 debuffs. I don't know about you. However, if all you need to be is paired with Lua and about 230 speed in order for you to one-shot everything that's either your speed or below, that's pretty disgusting. That being said, though, I understand, like, not always, you won't always have access to Lua. However, I was doing a lot of really undercutting or estimating or, like, I guess, under-evaluating. I don't know how exactly you would call it. But I was giving a lot of leeway to the gear that you would put on Blooming Litica to see just how much damage she would do. And ultimately, she doesn't... You know, she's not even in this season of RTA, so it doesn't matter too much. However, just based off of what I saw, so long as you can be semi-fast, I guess like that 230 to like maybe even up to like 270 speed range. If you're between these two ranges, and again, you pair yourself with someone like Lua or someone that can give you a speed buff, this character is going to do an insane amount of damage. And that's not taken into consideration if you give yourself a debuff, if you stun, etc. You don't actually need all the random stuff that you have in the champion spotlight that they showed. But I apologize. I just wanted to kind of get at that. I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way because I know a lot of people were asking about her. Didn't know if she was good. Didn't know if she was bad. Long story short, she's looking really strong. Again, I know, like, you know, the idea of, oh, well, just pick a character with speed buff is not very super simple, I guess, but just given how much people are picking Lua and how strong Lua is, it is worth noticing, or it is worth noting that she works extremely well with her. And that's not even taken into consideration. You have, like, you know, Beguile, or like you have like the Beguile and like the sleep that you could potentially get from the Lua, and you could also soul burn her. I digress. The next thing I want to talk about is her artifact, which, if you're curious about Blooming Litica and if she herself is going to try and be the debuffer with like her S2 and she herself gets all the debuffs without Lua's help, this is a pretty decent artifact. Number one, because it increases effectiveness, but number two, because all of these combat readiness effects where like it pushes back or like you gain the speed, all of these things will affect how much damage Blooming Litica's S3 does. So if you kind of put 2 and 2 together, if you can't, I guess, directly be faster, or if you can't be a 300 Blooming Litica, well, maybe you could push the Blooming Litica opponents or the opponents of Blooming Litica back, or you can give yourself speed buff, or you can make them slow. Anything like this works. These are a lot of things that people haven't really considered, I think, when it comes to Blooming Litica. So I think her artifact is decent, not the most OP in the world, and it kind of only feels like an artifact that works really well specifically for Blooming Litica. The combat readiness push is decent, I guess, on some other characters, but in a meta where you need defense penetration to be really justifiably picked as a debuffer or as a support utility character, this is not that great of an artifact. However, it is 30 effectiveness, it is a combat readiness pushback, but it's only activated once every 3 turns, so it's obviously paired with Blooming Litica. Side note, she is being released on the 28th, so that should be, I think, in about a day from the time of this recording. Keep that in mind. Next thing that we have up in store, I guess, is the week 3 of the Eerie Night in the Secret Garden. I know there's gonna be a lot of, I guess, like talking about like this this whole event, the Blooming Litica, the Biblis event. I still really like this event. I know there's definitely a bit more rushing now because like people understand like what you need to do. However, as we come into week 2 and week 3, I thought there would be a lot more stuff to us to do, or there would be a lot more stuff for us to do. But it would appear as though that with how easy the challenge floors are, at least from week 2, I'm not sure if that's going to, or if the exact same difficulty is going to translate into week 3. However, if it is going to be as easy as week 2, it feels like we're just basically waiting for plants. You fill out, you get your achievements and all that stuff, or you get your random rewards, and it's a nice relaxing game, or it's a nice relaxing mini game that you play while, you know, you're hanging out with your family during the holidays. Kind of a nice gesture, I guess, from Smilegate, or I guess you can interpret it negatively, and you can insinuate that Smilegate basically put no effort into this event, but that's not really true. I don't really feel like that's true. That is definitely an assumption that you can make, but I definitely don't think that's the case, especially with how nice some of like the pickup animations and the sound effects and the music and the BGM is. However, still something to consider. As you can see here, now you can get, I believe, up to level 18, and there's like new plants and there's new rewards that you have available to you. And now we have like the new array of, I guess, like stages that we have available. It looks like now from like stages 6 to 10, you get like a greater mod gem box, which is great. You get gold transmits, covenants, greater accessory charms. And all this is, again, really nice just because it feels like a more active way to play the game. Or it feels like I should say, a more different way to play the game. And it doesn't really cost energy. So if you want to bang everything out, you can. You just have to stare at your screen for 10 hours. So for those of you that are more like free to play and you want to spend your energy on other stuff and you want to just be 24/7 looking at the game at the expense of, obviously, you know, your leaves, or at the cost of saving your leaves, I guess, this is the event for you. Very nice. Moving along though, the event, all in all, pretty decent. It is really nice just to kind of stare, and it's kind of therapeutic and cathartic just to pick up like the little characters and then move them around and stuff. I still think it would be nice to be able to pin them. However, I understand they want them, or Smilegate wants the chibis to move around. That's still pretty cute and cool. The next thing that we have is I guess the gacha parts, and the more like smaller details. We have Elena and Stella Harpa's drop rate up. Elena's decent right now with a bunch of the AoEs that are out. However, I don't know if I would go out of my way to force summon for her. Stella Harpa is also okay, but generally speaking, you can probably get away with just having something like Wondrous Potion Vial, or just having effect resistance on some of your characters. Doctor's Bag is also pretty good nowadays if you just have like a faster Soul Weaver. Moving along, we have Expedition bosses rotation, or the Expedition boss is now rotating out. So I think right now we have the Dark, we have the Fire, and we have, I think this is the Grass boss, I believe. And moving along, or into the next rotation, we have Grass, we have Light, and we have Water. That's an okay rotation. I really am not a fan of the Light Expo. However, Water Expo is really easy, especially if you have Sid built and you have like Mercenary Helga. Like Mercenary Helga, Lilka, and Sid kind of like destroy Hopeless Samachus. And the Blooming Snag Glitch is really, really easy, especially if you've ever committed to, you know, the fire units for Rift. I really don't like Pain Pursuer Moroi. I guess that's how you say his name. But you do end up kind of needing, or at least for myself, I do kind of need some of these reforged materials to upgrade my pen, or my pen or my torrent gear. So I am kind of enjoying it. I appreciate it. However, this is not going to change, I think, until the new year. And then the final thing the final two things that we kind of have to talk about is the Powder Shop rotation. Let me just kind of break it down for you real quick. In terms of value, RNL, okay value. A lot of people will end up using RNL on characters like Ran. However, how much or how frequent you're going to be seeing Ran, especially towards the end of the season, I currently see a lot of people play Faithless Litica instead of Rand if you're going to be playing Cleave like that. However, obviously, if you're going to use Rand, there's definitely people that are still going to use RNL. Probably not worth pulling from a powder shop, though. That's kind of ridiculous. Also, RNL only scales up in value depending on how many copies you have. And it's not really one of those artifacts that's like guaranteed at 100% or guaranteed when you have it at plus 30. It would be broken if it was, to be clear. So it's kind of tough to justify pulling for dupes of it, especially. However, maybe you could argue getting one copy if you really like playing Ran. Shamaja Staff is kind of outdated at this point because a lot of people will use, I don't know, I think it's Dian's artifact, like the Unseen, or I think, is it Destino or Dian? The Unfading Memories artifact that also gives you effect resistance. There's also Soul Constellation if you want, you know, some effect resistance as well. However, Shamaja Staff does offer a decent amount of healing, and I definitely know people that have accidentally or randomly have Shamaja Staff, and I use it for Rift. That being said, though, it also kind of like RNL, like decent for like when you need it, but not like something that I'd really grab for. Crimson Mood of Nightmare is kind of like a meme artifact if you're trying to run like a Unity set on like Spectre Tenebria, and like that's kind of it. Definitely don't recommend it if you want to play Unity, by all means. However, I'm trying to give you like more of how my gut reaction to these artifacts, not like if I can see you win with it. Bloodstone is it's for some PvE. You could definitely get away with using it. And it's definitely helpful in some situations. However, I've seen plenty of people survive without it. Silver Rain is very meh, unless if you're running some sort of like weird cheese Rand build. Tag of Hells is the really big seller of the powder shop rotation this time around. And if you didn't know, especially with Emma Ludwig coming out, this is basically book E7. That being said, a lot of people that are cleaving or like playing Famir and stuff, some of them aren't using book, so maybe you don't need book as much. However, I think a lot of people that are especially playing stuff like Lua, Spectre Tenebria, really like Tag Hell's Ancient Book. This is now your opportunity to splurge on powder shop rotation if you really want to. Because honestly, Sepulchrum and Steadfast Gatekeeper are not really good either, and neither are any of really the other artifacts above it. It kind of looks like Book or Ancient Tag of Hell's Book is the star of the show. And finally, the last section that we have is a coin shop rotation. Just to be blunt, I've said this in the past, but don't buy any of the Covenant coin shops. 64 coins for an imprint is ridiculous. That's a scam. When it comes to the Galaxy coin shop, though, although this is very well as well, some people do end up getting dupes. I would probably say that Faithless Litica and Ashemancer Elena are very worth pulling for if you like them, or if you have any interest in playing Cleave, or if you like playing playstyles that involve, you know, punishing people that try to counter you. Both of these characters are very good at that. However, Faithless Litica is definitely more of an advanced pick, something that you definitely use more so for RTA, as opposed to Ashemancer Elena, who you could definitely use in Arena, you could definitely use in Guild War. Operator Sigrid is maybe usable sometimes in Guild War. However, she's kind of like a shell of her former self. If you want to punish a barrier nowadays, you probably are just going to use like Arunka. Arunka does a lot of damage even to someone that's, you know, like has a barrier like Aiden, even on a miss. I can't really say the same for Operator Sigrid. So with all that being said, though, guys, it was, I guess, like a decent patch. It's kind of like a patch that we already knew about, stuff that was going to come out. All in all, I'd probably say expected, for the fact that it's just, I guess, not really like a big reveal. Like, we know everything that's going to come out. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything before we... Okay, yeah. So, long story short, just based off of everything that happened in the patch, don't miss out on the side story stuff. Make sure to keep up with it because you want to keep the rewards. I know some friends and some like content creators that are like starting the event right now, and it is going to take you forever. You're just going to stare at your screen forever if you don't start on this stuff right now. So don't miss out on the rewards and doing the event right now. And additionally, like, though you can obviously like make your own call about whether or not you want to pull for Blooming Litica. She's a limited, so you might not want to miss out on her as well. And finally, for the Moonlight coin shop, I would probably recommend, if you haven't already gotten her, picking up maybe an Ashemancer Elena or a Faithless Litica, maybe both. If you're aspiring to play Cleave especially, I think these characters are really important. However, that's going to be it for this video, though, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. If you did, make sure to like, comment, turn on the notification bell, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this patch, if you're pulling for characters, if you're not. But anyways, that's going to be it. Make sure to check out the rest of my platforms as well. Discord, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Twitter. I stream on YouTube and Twitch all the time now. Hope you guys tune in and say hello, etc., etc. I've been helping out a lot of accounts as well, so if you want to join the Discord or maybe popping into one of the streams to see if I'm doing it, by all means, feel free to. I'll see you guys all in the next one, though. Adios.